The first ferry, all these ferries were not built for the ferry system, they were bought from different sites. The first ferry, which is the Governor Harrington, was built in 1871. It had a capacity of 45 to 50 passengers. And that stayed there until the Nice or the O'Connor was built and retired. I may have told you this story before, but when the fellow down bought it and wanted it taken down to the Pocomoke River, he wanted to make a floating hotel out of it. And so Dad took it down there, and he had master's license, but he didn't have pilot's, difference between pilot's license and master's, he didn't have pilot's license for the Pocomoke River, so they had to get a pilot. They were in the Pocomoke, and the captain's quarters were right behind the pilot house. And so Dad went down, lay down. And he'd been laying down about 10 minutes, and the guy ran aground. Oh. And Dad said, hell, I could have done that. So that was the ferry. The other one was a short-lived ferry called the General Lincoln. This is a picture of what we call the Old Harrington. Because there was a later Harrington II, which was a double engine as such. And the next ferry was the General Lincoln, which was kind of short-lived. They didn't keep that one very long.
Is this passenger?
Yeah, both passenger and car.
Oh.
These are all car and passenger ferries. Mm-hmm. This is the next ferry is the Majestic, which I don't have a picture of. You couldn't find it and such.
General Lincoln's huge.
Huh?
I say the General Lincoln's a small ferry.
Yeah. Actually, the General Lincoln only carried, what is it, something like 12 cars?
Yeah, it looks like it. Like the Oxford ferry.
Yeah, I was just thinking it's the same stuff.
I can't find it. I think it was only about 12 or 13 cars. Really very small.
So Dan, the ferries started to run in 1873?
Huh?
The ferries started to run in 1873?
No,
Okay.
1919.
They
The
started,
ferry, the steamboat ran.
The steamboat ferry. The passenger ferry from Baltimore.
came over when? When did all, I'm confused.
Yeah, which was started.
When did that start? I don't know. I think for the turn of the century.
Okay.
Yeah, sure before the turn of the century.
So
So
1919.
the car ferry, the principal
and
car
car.
passengers ran in ferries.
1919.
That's from Annapolis to Claiborne.
Claiborne.
1919.
Yeah.
Started in 1919.
And then in the late 30s, I don't know exactly, the late 30s, where they landed in Annapolis, which was at the bottom of what's the main drive?
Prince George.
Prince George Street.
Prince George, King George, right next to one another.
Maybe it was Kingdom. Anyway,
Yeah.
the Naval Academy was in where the runs on time. The Naval Academy took that over.
Built a field house.
Yeah. Well, that was the reason. My understanding is somehow they thought the war was going to come. And they wanted more land, and so they took all of that in. That's when they moved the ferry up to Mattapique and ran the Mattapique-Annapolis ferry. I mean, Mattapique-Sandy Point ferry. And then ran the other ferry from Claiborne over to Roanoke, then drive 5 miles to catch another ferry. For all the people down this end.
When were these photographs taken, do you know? These photographs?
I don't know, I just got them off the internet.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm surprised that they're colored. I wonder if they're hand colored a lot. I mean, it would have to be after the 50s if it was, yeah.
When they started taking pictures.
Well, I mean, it was available during World War II, but generally speaking, color cameras was probably 1949 or so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they paint photographs way back when?
Hand paint, well, that's what I was wondering if they were hand colored, yeah.
Oh, maybe they are. I have no idea. The next ferry after that is called the Majestic. And that was the first ferry my father was captain of, it was Majestic. And I've told this story before, I don't know who I've told it to and haven't told it to before. But they were coming to Annapolis, and he got the engine room somehow sprung a leak, and they thought the boat was going to sink. And in Annapolis, there were two slips because they had two ferry boats coming off the And down on the deck, they had hollered out, which side you want me to sink it on? It didn't sink, but later it did sink. They took it up to Baltimore, the dry dock into the port, and on the way to Baltimore, it sank. Yeah, I don't know that story.
In deep water?
In deep water.
Oh, okay.
I mean, to my understanding, deep water, I didn't know.
Was it salvaged or was it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't tell you. The next boat was at Ritchie, which is named after a former governor, which had a capacity of roughly 80 cars. And was placed in service in 1926 and ran until 1944. It was built in 1929. Built, that couldn't be right. Something's wrong.
It
And
held
this,
80 cars, was it all one level, or was it,
no, it was all one level.
it was big,
Huh?
that was big.
Cars were smaller too.
Hard,
Yeah.
but still, no, they were all one level. On the, tell you, the old Harrington, which I remember, what we call the old Harrington, which was the sideway where you drove up on the bow and you had to back your car in. They had a dining room, a formal dining room on the second floor, because it was an hour and a half ride to Annapolis. As a kid, I used to remember, loved to go up in that. Dad would take me up in that dining room, you know, I mean, it had chandeliers out there. No, it was-
It was an hour and a half ride to Annapolis. Did
Uh-huh.
it stop along the way or?
Nope.
So
So
what
it's
speed
quicker
did
than you can do it today.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
It's faster than you can make it today.
Well, not by boat, right? I mean, you can make
No,
it
but
happen.
driving.
Yeah, but driving. How many knots did the ferry typically cruise at, if that's a word?
I think on around 10 or 12,
And how far is it to Annapolis?
20-some miles.
Okay.
Just right across.
So,
But you
Hour
got
and
to
a
go
half,
around
yeah,
and run
over
it flying
time.
It's
around.
about 15, but
Huh?
I say as the crow flies, it's about 15.
15, but I think it was 20-some miles away ferry there.
right, okay.
And
So
you
that
go
would be,
around Bloody
yeah.
Point and then
Oh, the
back
ferry
in.
didn't go
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And you go straight, you go right across Bloody Point.
Yeah, you have to go down and up.
Down and up.
Okay.
Yeah, but you
So now
got
we have
to
to
go out
south
of Claiborne, you take a
north.
right, and then you take a left up to Bloody Point, and you cross Bloody Point, and you got to go into Annapolis. So it's, my understanding is between 20 and 25 miles.
Yeah.
How does the crow fly? The,
I think it's about 26 miles from Tillman Creek, so that makes about 20 miles.
Mm.
here's that's a picture of the Majestic, which was, had a short-lived life with the,
Is that the one you went on, Jack, out in,
Not one of the ones that's.
no. It was two ferries sold to the west coast,
Yeah, you mentioned that.
which was renamed the Olympia and Adirondack, I think.
One became the one that